To finish off the eyes, I actually forgot mascara, so. Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. I just saw a video from Jamila. She was talking about brands that dupe other brands, whether it's duping the vibes, duping the color story. She had a whole video about that topic, and it was so well done and it was so interesting that I just wanted to give a little bit of a reaction to it. I'm also playing with the Muse palette from Cosmic Beauty to do this eyeshadow look, and if you want to see any of that, then don't go anywhere. Okay, I want to play today with the beautiful Muse palette from Cosmic Beauty. You know, I realized that I've never ever used this shade. It is totally untouched in my palette, so I want to play with the purpley tones today. And I also have a palette pull-in. I have the Tropicolor palette from Sydney Grace. The palette pull-in theme, or like the idea behind it, is in a video carded above if you're curious, but I am working through this palette in consecutive order. So I used this shade yesterday. That means that today I am working on Blue Maho, and I'm thinking inner corner highlight. That's my plan. I will prime my eyes with the Glamlight Icing Primer. Everything I use is listed or linked down below in the description box. I'm starting with a Blend Money B1 brush into the shade Fig. I will use this in my outer corner. Yesterday I was watching a video from Jamila. She had taken a poll on her channel asking people what their opinions were on dupes. Are dupes okay? Are they not okay? Do you not really care? That was the general, those were the general categories, and then she left it open for people to leave comments as well. I will be sure to link Jamila's video in my description box because it was really, really interesting. And then she took the answers and she took all the comments. She made her video where she started off by sharing her thoughts in general on dupes, and then she started going through the comments. She read all the comments and gave her feedback to them. And it was a very, very interesting video because not only did she have clearly articulated opinions, but all of her viewers had really intelligent and thoughtful comments as well. And I found it to be quite fascinating. It was a good video. I recommend you check it out. It's linked below. It was interesting to start off with because when we're asking someone's opinion on something, it's important that we define the terms, right? So the concept of a dupe is that like where a brand might, I'm dipping into Sweet Pea with a fluffier and clean blending brush. Is a dupe where a brand, maybe a lower priced brand, sees the success of a larger brand and just recreates that same concept in a cheaper version. For example, Alter Ego and the way that they dupe out the palettes of Natasha Denona and Huda Beauty and other such higher priced companies, and then they sell them, instead of for $60 or $70 price point, they sell them for $20. They even try to recreate the same formulas and color stories. That's what I was thinking of when I first saw Jamila's poll. That's what I was thinking of. I was thinking, oh, what Alter Ego does. Apparently, Jamila's story behind her asking was because she was looking at some higher end luxury purses and handbags and other companies who had a similar concept or vibe, but were more affordable. And is it a dupe? Is it copying? Is it okay? What if she legitimately preferred the cheaper one, but it was kind of inspired by the other one? Where do the lines get drawn, and what were people's opinions? It was a very interesting topic. So one of the things that I thought was most interesting is that people seem to have big opinions about dupes in the beauty industry. There's some gray area. There are some people who are totally on board, like, yes, absolutely. One of the great things about a dupe is that it gives that product option to somebody who may not be able to afford the original, so they can get a cheaper option. And that was one of my thoughts. Another of my thoughts was also specified there, in that maybe you want to try a formula. Like I even mentioned in my brands I want to try in 2024 video, I'd like to try Natasha Denona. I don't know how I feel about the cream to powder. So maybe it would make sense for me to get an Alter Ego palette for a third of the price and try the cream to powder. And if I really like it, then I know that I'll like Natasha's, which would be even better, right? So that's an option that a dupe can give me. Okay, try out a formula, see if you like it, and then potentially be a customer for the higher, the better quality or the higher priced formula. It kind of evens out the marketplace in a way that you've got the expensive version and then totally different customer subset is going to be getting the more affordable version. You know, people who shop from Charlotte Tilbury habitually are probably less likely to be buying e.l.f. from the drugstore. So you're serving different demographics with a comparable product. But what was surprising to me was that while people have big opinions about it within the beauty or maybe handbag or perfume sort of spaces, nobody seemed to bat an eye in other spaces. And this was one of the final comments that she read aloud. And I was thinking, yes, that makes a lot of sense. And I didn't even think about this when she asked about dupes. I've picked up Amethyst on this flat brush and I did spray it. I'm going to put this on the center of my lid. I think it's going to be too dark to go all the way over here. I plan on something else over here. So here's Amethyst. Anyway, that final comment was, ooh, look at how, oh, you know, this is pretty much exactly what I was expecting. Anyway, the final comment was, people have big opinions about dupes in the cosmetics or makeup or handbag industries, but what about dupes in other industries? You've got the store brand or the generic or the no-name brand of every name brand product that we can think of. Think any product in the grocery store, from food to medications. There's an off-brand for everything. And that is one of the beautiful things about capitalism. As people said, it does round out the market to serve different consumers who have different price points, budgets, needs, preferences, maybe, you know. And nobody bats an eye when there's an off-brand of Cheerios or when there's an off-brand of granola bars or chocolate. All of that's fine. So why do we get upset when there are dupes of makeup designs or consistencies or formulas or content or color stories? Or why do we get upset? Where is that line drawn? I'm telling you, it was a really interesting video. Now I'm going to take a different flat brush. You know what? I'll just use my finger. Let's just use the finger into the shade Whisper. This is much lighter and I'm going to put it on the inner area right here. Yeah, that's pretty. Another consideration that somebody mentioned was intellectual property or the creative process. Like, it takes a person to come up with a color story within a palette. So are you slighting that person or complimenting them? But in this industry, because it's money driven, are you slighting them? Are you doing something wrong by copying a different person's color story? Are you copying their work? Artwork, I mean, I can create something out of my brain and it has intellectual property rights. And if somebody else comes along and creates something, I'm going to do the blue from Sydney Grace. If someone else comes along and just takes my idea, I would get upset about that, right? Blue is called Blue Maho, and I'm going to put it right on my inner corner here. And I think I'll put this on my lower lash line as well, because it's pretty and it's light. So there's something to be said for the creative process and the artists behind certain products. The artist behind a handbag company, you know, it might even be the name of the company. Now, I don't know anything about luxury handbags. She listed like 8 brands and I'm sitting here going, I have literally never heard of a single one of them. But anyway, the point is that there's an artist working behind, or maybe a team of artists working behind the production for a handbag, right? That's the idea. And are you doing something wrong by knocking off their handbag? Now, it is a totally different thing to say, like, a true knockoff. This is a Gucci purse when really it's not. This is a Coach purse when really it's not. That's lying, right? But to take inspiration from a Coach purse and just have your own name and your own products and your own production and everything, it looks like the Coach purse, but you're not claiming that it's Coach. You know what I mean? I thought it was such an interesting video. I think Jamila handled it very well because she wasn't using a script, and I speak from experience, and I even commented this on her video. It is hard to have a really chatty video without a script. I mean, yes, there's editing, but sometimes you just don't express yourself in the way that you'd want to unless you've written it down ahead of time. I do this sometimes if I have a really chatty video and I want to make specific points, I will write them down because I tend to get rambly or get a little sidetracked, and it's hard for me to stay on task. And if you pair that concept, the concept of talking through a subject, pair it with putting on your eyeshadow, it gets 3 or 4 times more convoluted because they're totally different skill sets. We're like choosing colors and applying formulas and, you know, precisely applying things in specific places and talking about something. It can be really hard. Jamila said in her video that she was gonna do it as a chatty video and she decided not to because she didn't want to be mentally distracted from the topic by applying eyeshadow. Anyway, this eye look is done, so I will close out my thoughts there. I'm just blending softly. This is pretty. That's it. I'm gonna go off camera and do the other side, and I'll be right back to finish this up. Okay, so there we go. That's everything. Again, I skipped my waterline because I'm still having some issues over here. I'll just let that ride. On my eyes, the only thing else, that's great grammar. The only other thing I did on my eyes was put on some mascara. On my lips, I'm wearing this Italia Deluxe liner. The shade is 1060 Hot Cocoa. I pretty much filled in the lips and then I topped them with this. I've been trying this from e.l.f. Speaking of drugstore, this is the Hydrating Core Lip Shine in the shade Delightful. There you go. So this is what I have. It's actually really nice. It feels kind of like a lip balm. It's smooth and creamy and it has a bit of pigment. So it's affordable, although e.l.f.'s prices have gone up, and it's nice, and I was just trying out something new. On my face, I put on this Matchmaker blush from ColourPop. I just use it. It's not a blush color for me. I just use it as a blush bronzer sort of thing. Just a bit of color in that part of my face. And then for a highlighter, I used the Muse palette again. This shade up here, Luster. That's what I used as a face highlight. I don't know if you can see it, but it's there and it's pretty, and that is all she wrote. So I would love to hear your thoughts, of course, on the look per usual, but I also really want to hear your thoughts on dupes. Do you think it's okay for a smaller brand to dupe out a larger brand, or for a larger brand to dupe out the good idea of a smaller brand? Is that stepping on toes, or is that simply just as capitalistic as the reverse? Do you think it's okay to dupe at all? Do you think it's okay to dupe formula, or get really close to the name of something, or really close to the packaging of something that maybe went viral and you're trying to jump on that bandwagon? Do you think it steps on people's toes if you get too close, or if you do it at all? Do you think it's totally fine? I would like to hear your thoughts. Definitely check out Jamila's video because it is well done, better than mine. She put way more thought into it. This is kind of my reaction to her video. She also had a lot of really interesting comments in the original poll as well as in the video comment section. I recommend you check out Jamila's if this is a topic which interests you, because it is 100% worth watching. And I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for clicking on my channel, for coming here today. I hope you've enjoyed spending a little bit of time here, and I do hope that you'll consider liking and subscribing before you go. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!